Can we give Dr. Obeseason another round of applause, please? Thank you for that incredible update and for the encouraging news, because there is reason to hope. Good morning, everyone. Good morning. Good morning. My name is Leslie Foster. I'm here with WUSA 9, but I'm also a Delta, and y'all have all come up to me to remind me that I didn't wear red. I know that. I have an elephant on the back of my cell phone. I have my membership card in my purse. I am a Delta, even though I'm not in red. If you would allow me just for a moment, because the county executive and his wife Sis and her caretaker Sylvia and the county executive sister Cherie are here. And when I think about dignified folks, I think about these folks. So could I just ask you to stand for a moment? That is not in the script. I'm deterring just a little bit. Sylvia, can you stand please too? Where's Cherie? Because you can't talk about this disease without talking about people who walk the walk. I'm also supposed to acknowledge one more person who's entered the room, and that is Honorable Ingrid M. Turner, who is with Prince George's County Council District 4. Thank you so much for joining us. I'll try to keep my tears to myself. But in December, I had the great privilege of speaking with Prince George's County Executive, Rashern Baker, who I call the caregiver-in-chief here, about his family's struggle with Alzheimer's. And I also witnessed the depth and the power of friendship as my Delta sorors came out and rallied to embrace their sister, their line sister, their sister friend, their brother, and really provide some incredible support for the family. And when I think about courage, I think about what your county executive and his family decided to do, to widen the circle and let us in and let us know what this journey has been about. So from the devastating diagnosis of First Lady Krista Baker, who I must say is brilliant. She was brilliant as a mother and as a wife and as a sister and as an attorney and as a tireless advocate for people in need. Her diagnosis with early onset Alzheimer's changed the tenor of things, and they allowed us in on this journey, and the Baker family countered fear with love, and they inspired a real call to action from people who have lifted up this family in extraordinary ways. And I cannot even begin to tell you about the response to their story. So thank you. Thank you for your bravery. Thank you for sharing with all of us. So through this process, our community and all of us learned that Alzheimer's disease touches everybody. We learned that everybody knows somebody. When I think about who's sitting at my table, I think about Susan's father, and I think about Alex's mother, and I think about Dr. Obeseason's mother. And at your table, there is somebody who's got somebody close to them that's going through this now. So we all know somebody, and we are all impacted by this in ways that we don't even begin to fathom right now. But we learn that sometimes a family decides to speak publicly to fight for awareness, to fight for funding, to fight for change, to fight for a cure. And so today, I am so very honored to be here to introduce the husband of the lovely First Lady, Miss Krista Beverly Baker, from the Indomitable 21, who pledged at Alpha Chapter, Howard University. He also happens to be your fantastic Prince George's County Executive, Rashern Baker.
Can we give Leslie Foster a round of applause again? She is absolutely the best. What she didn't say, and I will try to be very brief. I think I'm supposed to give a testimony. What she didn't say is the day that she came to do the interview, and we were actually talking about this on the way over here in the car, is it wasn't a good day. It was a very bad day. And so we knew it would be difficult to do the interview at that time. But the grace and compassion in which she did the interview, the grace and compassion which she showed to my wife in this bad moment, made an otherwise hard day easier. And I want to thank you for that. Can we give her another round of applause? So I will, first of all, let me apologize for being late. On most days I say my schedule is my wife's schedule. Today it was not her. She was dressed on time. The person whose fault it is that we are late is my dear sister Cherie. Can you stand up? But I want you to be very nice to her, because my baby, the baby of the family, has come here to help her brother out. Her brother has to go. That's right. Her brother has to go on a trip. So she knows that her brother is going to worry every single moment before the trip, during the trip, and after the trip, whether in fact his wife is okay. So she has come here to watch her while I'm away. It's support. We talked about, us going public with this. And people have come up to me and they've said, wow, that was, really brave of you, and you're such a strong person, and wow, you're my hero. And I said, really, it wasn't my idea. It wasn't my idea at all. The moment I found out that my wife had early onset, I literally cried for a week. My hand shaked. I didn't know what to do. For 30 years or so, I never bought an article of clothing. I never bought a car, a house. I didn't know what our code was to pay our bills. I didn't know how to pay my children's tuition. I knew absolutely nothing, but a brilliant young lady allowed me to run for office. And so I cried every day, wondering what we were going to do and how we were going to go on. And the most interesting thing was, I would cry, and my wife would look at me and she would say, "Oh, sweetie, you think about your daddy? It's going to be all right." And so when we knew that the disease was progressing, I went to our children and I said, and actually it was my son who made me tell the girls. I couldn't bring myself to tell the girls. But I went to the children and I said, it's progressing. There are things Mommy can't do anymore. People will notice and are noticing. My reaction was my typical reaction, which was, I don't care. I said, we have two choices. We can just say, the First Lady is not going to do the things that she used to do, and there's a family matter, and we'll keep it private, which was my option. I said, and I'm going to send out a press release, and that'll be it. And what they said to me was, we don't want to do that. They said, we are very proud of Mommy. We're proud of the role that she has played in our lives. We're proud of the role that she has played in this nation. And we want people to know what a strong person she is. And we want people out there to know her story, our story. We want to raise awareness. We don't want to be selfish. We want to let people know that we need help, that this affects, as Leslie said, a lot of people. We want that story out there, and we want to help you tell it. And so we did. And since then, people have called, emailed, come over. People who every day I would see at work, who I never knew were going through these things, would come up and say, thank you. Many times I felt absolutely, bad because I was thinking to myself, well, really, I didn't want to tell anybody. It was my kids. And the one person I will close with talking about the children, who is the bravest of them all and who gives me the most problems because she forgets absolutely everything. And that was our youngest, who we always called my wife's greatest experiment. It was her greatest project. Our youngest is very bright like her mother, but she is nowhere near organized like her mother. She is like her daddy. But for 2 years, when she was in high school, the 15-year-old became the mother. The 15-year-old would get off the bus after being in the art program, would come home and sit with mommy while daddy was at work. 15-year-old would miss Friday night dances. The 15-year-old would miss Saturday going out with her friends. The 15-year-old would make sure mommy ate. 15-year-old would make sure mommy got dressed. And they would sit on the couch. Now, the 15-year-old would not clean the house. But she would cook. For 2 years, she allowed me to be county executive. For 2 years, she allowed me to do the job of running this county, of going to work and knowing that somebody was there to make sure mommy was okay, that I never had to worry. I was blessed. We are blessed. We brought Sylvie in when the 15-year-old had to go to college, which she said, Daddy, I want to stay close. And I said, no, honey, you going away. Far away. Because I wanted her to live her life. That's what her mother would want. And so Sylvia came into our life and has been there to make sure that I can do my job. And if you can help me give her a round of applause, please. There are just a few more people I want to thank. First of all, in this order, I never knew black was like the dress at Howard. This whole thing, my wife for the longest would only wear black. The red I understood because it's Delta. I said, well, what's up with the black dress? I'm so sick of seeing these daggone black dresses. And when I found out as the Alpha chapter, they wear black for certain events. Two colors, red and black. If nothing else, Delta. Delta. We have officially become, if I never was thankful for Delta ever, if I ever said anything bad on Howard's campus, I apologize. Because you talk about a rallying force. If I need somebody at the drop of a hat to come in there, I just send out a blast email and they come. Sis has never had like a lot of birthday parties because she didn't really like parties. She actually had a week-long party this year. From Atlantic City to our house where they came over. It is just the organization and the rallying and the support that we got was phenomenal. So I want to give them a round of applause for everything that they've done in the organization. I want to thank Bridget Gear for her work in making sure that we had all of these folks come out here this morning. Can you stand up and let's give you another round of applause. And let me close with this, the Alzheimer's Association. Susan, when I got the news that we went to the doctor's office, and I understand my story is not uncommon, went to the doctor's office, and the reason we went there is a good friend of ours who happens to be a doctor insisted for 2 years that I continue to have my wife checked. He just knew something was wrong. Didn't know what it was, but he knew something was wrong, and he insisted. Had he not insisted, we would have been in really, really bad shape. We get to the doctor's office. Finally, they give us the diagnosis where, and I think I told Leslie this in the story, where she can't remember her children's birthday or how old they are. And he's asking her the questions, and I'm sitting there, and she's looking at me, and I'm crying because she's crying. And then he says, after a while, he turns and he talks to me. He doesn't talk to her anymore, which made her mad. So I was like, I'm going to get it after we leave here. And then he said, she has early onsets of dementia, and, we're going to do some more tests. Thank you. Have a good day. I said, so where's the medicine? There is no medicine. I said, well, so what do we do here? What's the plan? He said, well, we'll give you something to make it cope, but there is nothing. I said, well, will it progress? How long? I don't know. That was it. I walked out. I cried. And in those moments where I didn't know what to do, I remembered this. There was an envelope that came to our house from the Alzheimer's Association. Like most mail, I treated it as junk mail. So I would constantly throw it away as it came in, because you know what? My wife always had causes. If she sees something, anything on TV, if there was a cause, she was there. She was spending our money on it. She was going to make the world better. So she was always giving to causes. So my thing was to, as I'm trying to figure out what's going on, toss some of those. But you know what? God is good. God is good. I happened to have that envelope I hadn't thrown away, and it had a website on it. And I went to it and learned everything I could from that website. I learned how to bathe, dress. I learned what I could do. I learned things for the children. But it was my saving grace from going insane. Because she had enough foresight to know that her disorganized husband would need help. And in those moments when she was doing the finances and everything, she was hurriedly making a plan for us because she knew I didn't have one. But had it not been for that website and for your help, I literally, and I mean this sincerely, I don't know what I would have done. There were moments when I just sat in the bed late at night when she just would not go to sleep, and I cried. I was like, baby, Daddy got to go to work. Can you please go to sleep? And I tip on the website. What I promised myself and what I promised the kids is every time I looked at that website, we would make a donation. That we would do everything we can to make sure there is not a husband, brother, father, sister, daughter, mother, aunt, caregiver out there who would not have the ability to have the information that we have simply because I happen to be county executive and I can call people. That our job from this point on is to make sure that there is a cure, to make sure that we do everything in our power to push this issue forward. That's my hope. Thank you.